Hello, everybody. I'm back, and the microphone is on this time. How about that? Anyways, I am back, and hey, you can see one of my dogs walking around. They're both in the room with me. You might see them popping up around here at some point during I doing the videos. But I'm back for another unboxing. This one is a newer game, and it is Survival of the Fattest. And this is from Dirty Rascal Games, and it is I want to make sure I get the name right. Yes, Lee Smith is the artist and designer of the game. So um, I've got to play this a couple of times now. This is enjoyable. I like this game. My game group has enjoyed this, and so let's take a look at it. All right. So we'll switch over. All right. So taking the lid off. Now I have played this, but I want to show you everything that's in the box. Also, this is the Deluxe Kickstarter edition. So the retail edition will have a few differences, and I believe I do know the difference of those. But so let me get that out the way. We don't need the mouse in the shot. So again, really nice. This one has a nice rule book. You can see how it shows all the different types of cards. This, because it's the deluxe, it has the standees and the miniatures. So the retail version will have the standees. And this game does have a solo component as well. So there's additional cards, dice, and standees for the solo mode. One game board and 4 player boards. So it does play 1 to 4. This game does play in about 60 minutes, and it's for ages 10 and up. All right, so we'll just kind of continue looking a little bit at the book. It's very large, very colorful. There's a lot of examples. They did a really good job of explaining everything in this game. One of the things too is the keyword glossary I have found to be real important. Some of the cards will talk about, they'll make certain things like collect this or complete something, and you really want to look at what that means. There's some things that you might kind of question, but follow what it says here in the glossary. And like there's some trick cards, and I'll talk about them in a little bit. But one of the things that I found out in the game was that you're playing a trick, which usually is an advantage for you. But one of the characters, you're taking traps in putting them in your stash, which traps are a -1 at the end of the game. But so it's like it didn't make sense the first time I played. I was like, why? This doesn't make sense. So then the second time we played, we're like, okay, we're going to interpret this as meaning you can stash that in someone else's. Well, the third time we played it, we kind of came to realize that no, you're playing that with that character, but that character's special ability later, if you feed your critter, is those turn into positive points. So you are able to take traps and put them into your stash, which actually does turn out to be a good thing. So initially what I thought maybe it was a Kickstarter type of thing, first run type of thing, turned out to be just not under me understanding. But the hardest part I had about this game was, well, here I am going into more than just an unboxing. This is supposed to be an unboxing. Well, this is an unboxing with additional information. How about that? The one thing that I got hung up on learning how to play is there are 4 phases of this game. And the thing to remember is that you are going to, everyone is going to go around. You're going to be your first player. You're going to determine, the first thing is determining your turn order. So it will change on every round. And everyone is going to do phase 1, which is determining how to do, everyone's going to do that. Phase 2, you're going to start with your first player, and they're going to do their actions. So they're going to have the chance to recycle. They're going to play tricks. Then they're going to visit a location. And when I lay everything out, I'll talk more about that. But then after you've done those 3 things, it moves around the table, and everyone else is going to do those. Then you move on to phase 3, which is foraging. And then you go, once everyone's done that, you go to phase 4. So like when I was first playing, I was thinking, like when I was first trying to learn, like I didn't understand. I was thinking, well, everyone goes through all 4 phases and then it goes to the next player, and that's not it. You do a phase with everybody, and then you work through. And then there's I'll show you when we have a reset between seasons. There's some different things you will do. Talks about how to score. There is a critter size guide, which is important in the game. So that's important to know, the size of your critter. And they talk about scoring. There's a page, 2 pages here for the solo mode. And then there is a mini expansion that was included that they have on the back. So, all right. Let's put this right here. There we go. Then you got the board, fits in nice. This game has a really nice tray, whatever. I really like this. Is everything fits really nice. You got the board, then you've got the player boards that are fit into this cutout here. There's actually room here for more stuff on the top. Maybe for future expansions or things. I probably could, I don't know, maybe the first player marker fits there, but I just keep that in the bag. But you get a first player marker. The dice is for the solo. The little round is a round marker that you will use. You get just some really, oops, I'm wrong camera. I want to put it up here. This is old Grizz. He's just, it's the biggest miniature in the game, and he just looks awesome. And you have Bucky, a buck, really nice, nicely done miniatures. There is an otter, which has been pretty popular. If you play as the bunny, you get I forgot their name, Honey and Buns, I believe. You get 2 of them, so there's 2, and you get a opportunity to play kind of some double actions with that one. There is a fox, and there's also a squirrel. There's a squirrel, and then you've got it's a blue jay. It's not painted, but I haven't painted yet. I haven't dived into that. The game does have some standees because under the tray I've tucked them under the tray, are the standees. So there's actually stickers in the game. That's probably for the deluxe. And then there's some of these standees as well, which I did not pull out. I might have to if I do the solo, because there's things here that I can see, like that's, so I think these 3 are for the solo game right here, those 3 characters. So if I decide to do the solo, I will need to pull those out and use them. But out of sight, out of mind for now. All right, got a nice little score pad. All right, so these cards, this is all for the solo play. You do have Alfie and his cards. So he's the wolf. Harriet is this, looks like a condor. And Demort, which must be a mouse. And then there's additional cards in here, which are all for, I believe all these are for the single player solo mode, I should say. Fast food might be part of the expansion. Oh yeah, fast food's actually one of the mini expansions. So I might have some of those mixed up in here. So I think I got all the mini expansions in here. So what I've done is I got all the recipe cards laying here. So the recipe cards, you will have to gather and forage for food. So for example, it's on this card, to complete this recipe, you need a berry and a fish. And you will score the points in the top right corner. Now, if you complete this directly from the market, then there's a couple different ways to score. You'll score 2 points, but you'll get this ongoing bonus through the game at the bottom. So there are things like that. Everybody gets 7 cards labeled 1 through 7 in their hand. So again, this is a deck builder, and the way you determine start order is by you have 7 cards plus 3 that are your character's tricks to start out with a 10-hand deck, and you'll shuffle that up, start with 5. So turn order is always who has the highest number of the forge card. If there's a tie, you just work your way down till whoever has the 2 highest or 3 highest. So everyone will have the same number of forge cards. So those are in there, my recipes. All right, then there are some player cards. On one side, it tells you all the different locations and what they do. And on the other side, it is the round sequence and explains that. All right. And then you have your critter cards. So, for example, here's Buck. Yeah, Bucky. So it shows on, for example, it shows he has to be fed. So the object of this game, number 1, you got to feed your critter. It's called Survival of the Fattest. So the object is you're going out, and I'll play the board, show the board in a little bit, but you are trying to gather and forage food to feed your critter. If you go and complete the last round and you have not fed your critter, you get no points because your critter did not survive winter, right? So it's all about getting prepped for winter, getting enough food that you're going to survive. So once you feed your critter, then you flip it over, the card over, and you get you'll get a bonus. And every character is very different. So this one is at the start of the foraging phase. You may change your foraging location. So, and that I did play with someone who used this, and was interesting how that worked in combination of some of their trick cards. So your character will lay out on your player board in front of you the 3 trick cards, which everyone has different ones, will go into your deck with your foraging cards. All right. Then we have a whole bunch of food. All of this is food cards. So you've got the real nice wild fruit. This is a really like a nice hollow foil card. It's the card's fun, but like the hollow foil is like the actual middle, so it's really easy to see. It looks really nice. It's not a full one where it's hard to see. They did a really nice job on these cards. So you have like wild. There's honey. You've got berries, carrots, fish, leaves. There's all kinds of things, and then you have traps. So these things can come out, and you might even be forced to take them sometimes when you're foraging against other people. And if you end up with these in your stash at the end of the game, it's a minus a point. And the interesting thing about a trap is once it's in your hand, then you cannot get rid of it. There's only one way to get rid of it, and that's by doing a recycle in the second phase, which basically means if you have a hand of 5 cards, you got to get rid of at least 2 cards. So you could get rid of a trap and a food, or 2 traps if you had 2 traps, because you can't do anything with them. It limits your hand. So you want to get them out of your thing. But to do a recycle, you're penalized 1 card. So you have to at least discard 2 to draw a new card. So you're going to start with 4 cards instead of 5. But that's the only way to get them out of your hand, unless you have some kind of special ability or a trick or something pulls it out of your hand. All right, so that's kind of that. Now what I want to show you is, put this away, slide that over. I'm going to show you the player boards. They look different. but it's just artwork. They don't do anything different. There's not a specific player board, per critter. Let me see. My camera is angled just off, so it's like crooked on front of me, but it's straighter on the camera. Weird. So if I put it straight in front of me, that's at an angle. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But these are like, the artwork's really nice. It's really nice. I really like the artwork. But these are the 4-player boards. You put your completed recipes and your stash, your critter card, your critter deck, and your discard. So very, very nice. I liked it. They actually did 4 different player boards. Like, they, a lot of places just print them all the same. And I just like it. I think it's nice to have the different ones. So, couple things. There is, if you can see on the top, it says reserved recipes not yet completed. So let me grab a couple of cards just to do an example for you. When you're getting a recipe at the start of the game, you'll get 2 recipe cards. You'll pick one to keep, and then you'll put one in the market on the game board. But you'll tuck this one up top. And then once you have the ability that you have a berry and a carrot in your hand, then you can go to the market. I think it's the marketplace, and you can complete that recipe. Yeah, you can go to the market. You can complete the recipe, and then you get the 3 points. That's how many points you get, and then it goes into your completed recipe section. Now, say I pick one up from the market, which I'll show you a little bit later, and I complete it. I have the stuff in my hand, and I take it from the face up, and I've completed it. I won't get the 2 points that's there. I will get the 1 point instead of 2, but now I get a +1 for each unspent berry that's in my stash when scoring. So it is an ongoing bonus that will help you potentially score more points. So this could become a lot more valuable than this 2. You could end up getting 3 or 4 additional points off this card. And so those will go on the bottom. So try to get those. The one hard thing about this game, for if you're an older gamer, you have a hard memory. When you're stashing cards like this acorn, when you put stuff in your stash, it goes face down. And you're not allowed to look at your stash until you get to the reset phase of the game, which is after every 4th round. And then you're going to have stuff like this at the top. And when you're doing these recipes that are reserved, when you're doing a reset, when you're going between spring to summer, that's when you go into your stash, and you're like, okay, I'm looking through my stash. Oops, I have a trap that just stays there till the end of the game. So let's say this is what I have. I've got 3 acorns and 2 leaves. I have 1 leaf, so I can't complete any of this because I don't have the food in my stash. If I did have what I needed, let's assume that this was a berry and a carrot, then I would discard these back to the trading post, and then this would get put in my completed recipes to score at the end of the game. So trying to remember what you put into your stash is super important. And I will say there is a character that you can use that allows you to look at your stash quite a lot. Like I said, all of these play very different, and I'm fine. That's really neat. I really like the way that everything kind of plays. All the characters play different. Makes it very enjoyable. Everyone's doing something different. Everyone's got different abilities. It's pretty cool. All right, so last thing, we'll look at the game board. It's quite large. All right, so the round marker's down here. So you're going to move it. You get 4 rounds in spring, and then you have what they call a reset. When you're at the reset, that's when you can go in and go into your stash. So during these 4 rounds, you're trying to get stuff into that stash, and it's not always easy. So you have Pinecrest Ridge up here. So if you take your character, and when you're visiting a location, you will say you go to Pinecrest Ridge, you can take a card and put it into your stash on your player board. The problem is the next round you have to move, and you're not going to have anything to stash in round one because you have to go forage. You have to get food. You don't start with it, so you're going to go somewhere else. Then, so you probably won't get anything stashed in the first round, or very few items that you may not feed a critter, you may not complete a recipe, but that's a place to put stash. And maybe if you have a character that allows you to do that, you can put some more stuff into your stash. When you reset, like I said, you go in, you feed either your critter or complete your recipes. All your cards that you have, your discard, your hand, and your critter deck all get reshuffled together. You reshuffle everything, and your deck will be larger at this point, and then you go into the next 4 rounds of summer, and you're doing the same thing. So the board's nice because it shows you on here. It's got little icons that tell you what happens when you go to these locations. So again, if you go to Pinecrest Ridge, you get to stash 1 card. If you come here to Greenvale, you get to draw 2 cards out of your deck and put them into your hand, which can be very advantageous if you have maybe 1 or 2 forge cards. Maybe you're going to draw a couple more that you can forge for more food during the forging section. If you come over here to Pebblebrook, you get to take 3 cards off the top, and then you can look at them and put them back in the deck in any order. You can either put them on the top in any order, or you can put some on the bottom in any order. You can do it in both. But if you are the only one, which is nice, if you're the last one to go, move, and no one's at Pebblebrook, then you get to look, and basically you know how many forge cards you have, so you can, all right, one of these is a trap. I'm putting the trap on the bottom. I'm going to put the other 2 on the top because they're things that I want, or maybe only one of the items is going to help you. So you put the trap and the other food item on the bottom, and now you know you're going to get one thing you like, and now you've cleared the trap and a food item you know you don't need, and gives you 2 more options. So that's a nice option as well. Then we have the market. So if you go to the market, we're going to have face-up recipes here, and you can reserve one when you come here. So you can take one of these that are face up and tuck it on the top of your player board, or if you have the food in your hand that meets the requirements of any one of these cards, then you would complete that. You would discard your food cards here to the trading post. They go on the bottom of the deck, and then you take that card and then you put it on the bottom of your player board, and you now gain that bonus that I mentioned earlier. Last place to visit is the trading post. So there will be 4 food cards, food or trap cards sitting face up, and then you have a deck face down. Every one of these locations does have a deck of cards face down. The market will be all recipes. Pebblebrook, Greenvale, Pinecrest Ridge, and the trading post are all going to be food and traps. So they're all going to be face down. So when you come here, you can swap a food item from your hand with one of the 4 face up. You put it in its place, and you take that card. Or you can collect one, which means you take the top one off the deck and put it in your discard pile. Now, there is no limit. There's not like a place to put. You're just kind of putting your people. So if I got 3 people at Pinecrest Ridge, they're just kind of gathered right there, and then maybe my 4th person went over here to Pebblebrook, and then when you move, after you've completed, we completed the round, we go to the next round, and you're visiting a location, you must move from the location you're at. So you cannot stay there. You have to move. So you can't just keep stashing every round. You do have to move around. One of the fun parts of this game is, so say I got 3 people here, 1 here. When we go to forging, the person at Pebblebrook, they're the only one there. So they're going to put 1 to 5 or however many forge cards, they're going to lay them out. So say they have 3, they're going to take the top 3 cards here. Everything is seen and shared, so you lay them out, and everyone will see what you got. You take those along with your forge cards, you discard them. Now here comes the fun part. I really like when you forging with other people, because now you've got 3 people sitting here. So let's say old Grizz got 5 forge cards. The Otter's got 3. Buck's got 4, right? So what is that? Quick math, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards, right? It's 12 forging cards. You're going to take 12 cards off the top. You are going to lay them out somewhere on the board, probably not here because there's going to be stuff there, around the top, maybe at the top or at the bottom. You're going to lay them out, and then it goes priority. Now, priority will be whoever has the most forge cards, with one exception. Old Grizz. He is the biggest critter, and his special ability is that he always has priority regardless. So if he put one card out and both of these put 5 out, Grizz gets to go first. So you lay out all those 12 cards, and let's just assume Grizz was not here, okay? So you got all these guys sitting over here. They have, let's just say, a total of 12 cards. So all of them go out, and then how you determine who gets to go first is if we say if Buck only put 2 out, well, if all of them put 3, okay, then they're tied, and then you go by critter size, which I mentioned was in the rule book. So then Buck would go first. He gets first dibs. Otherwise, if you know, this guy put 5 out, he put 4, and he put 3, then he put the most forging cards, he goes first. And what happens is you start doing a card draft. So this guy who put the most out would take a card. And then it goes to the next person, they take the next card, and you continue around till all the cards are gone. Now, if with 12 cards, you're likely to have 1 or 2 traps. So the first guy that goes, as long as there's someone of a lower priority that has not yet taken a trap, you don't have to take it, they have to take it. So eventually, if you have 3 traps out of the 12, then eventually you're going to end up having to take one. But you get to pick some other stuff that you want. So the more forge cards you have out, the better chances of you going first to get what you want in the draft. So it's a really fun game. It's it looks like it is a cutesy animal game. Old Grizz is not cute. He has a snarl on his face that he's not happy, dude. That's why they call him Old Grizz. But it's anyways, that is Survival of the Fattest from Dirty Rascal Games. I just got this in. The Kickstarter completed. It was late. It was like a year late, but it turned out this game was a lot of fun. It's gotten, I think I've played it 3 times now since it came in the last month. I think I got it about a month ago, and I've already played it like 3 times. And I know we're probably gonna be playing it again this week because I got someone else that will probably fall in love with this game. And so I told her I'm gonna bring this to our next game night, and it's a lot of fun. So if you see Survival of the Fattest in retail, or you have the option to pick this up somewhere, especially the Kickstarter edition, the miniatures are really nice. I do recommend it. But that's it. So let me flip back. I should probably have gone back here a little bit as soon as I was done, but that's it. That is, let me pull the box cover back if I don't drop it. That is Survival of the Fattest. So check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a really fun game. Great quality components. Everything about the board is thick. The cards are great thickness. Everything is a good quality. I got absolutely no complaints. The original complaint was it was a year late, and I was like, I'm not even going to want to play this when it shows up. You know, my tastes have changed, but this turned out to be well worth the wait. Really enjoy the game. So hope you enjoyed this unboxing plus. I should call it an unboxing plus. But hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you at the table.